Kimberly here, registered nurse and business development director with specialty care management. We've been specializing in dialysis and mitigating the risk of dialysis for over 22 years. And it's important to remember that among your groups, even if you're not yet seeing dialysis, keep in mind you're paying for it long before it might show up for you. Even before people have a diagnosis of kidney disease, it's important to consider that 90% of people with a really low kidney function have yet to be diagnosed. This is a real shame. Most people aren't diagnosed with kidney disease until they're in late stage 4. As they progress into stage 5, end-stage renal disease, that's where they begin to prepare for dialysis, if they're lucky enough to catch it before they crash into dialysis. It's not uncommon to see a member go in for an elective procedure and be told that they can't have it because their kidney function is too low. One of the labs that we use to measure an eyeball, if you will, the kidney's function is called a GFR. Let me show you. Would you like to see a glomerulus? The GFR stands for glomerular filtration rate. Now, the glomerulus is the filtering unit of the kidneys. Every drop of blood is filtered through the glomerulus. If you look here at the kidney, you'll see lots of these little nephrons in here. And within the nephron, you have these little tiny structures called glomeruli. The glomerulus is the filtering unit of the kidney. I think about the glomerulus like a little ball of yarn, like a filter. And these blood vessels here that do the filtering work in the kidneys, they're delicate. They're very small. This is why your folks with kidney or with diabetes and high blood pressure, this is why they develop kidney disease. Keep in mind that even those momentary spikes in blood sugar cause damage to the delicate structure that makes up the glomerulus, the filtering unit. Have you ever tried to make homemade syrup or candy, right? You dissolve sugar, right? You cook it, you dissolve it until it can't dissolve anymore. And what happens to that, right? It becomes thick. And because it's thick, it requires more pressure to push that blood through the filtering unit of the kidneys, through the blood vessels, right? This is why folks with diabetes, we frequently find that they have high blood pressure. The two go hand in hand. As the blood becomes thicker and more viscous, it requires more pressure to push that through. That pressure tears up the delicate structures that make up the filtering unit in the kidneys. Not only the glomeruli are damaged, but also the intima, the inner lining, the inside wall of the blood vessels gets damaged. This is also why we see high cholesterol among these folks. Cholesterol is called in to kind of shore up the damage, much like spackling on a hole in the wall. The physiology at play here can be complex. We like to distill that down for people in actionable items that they can understand and know how they can combat. This is one of the reasons why we garner the high engagement rates with our CKD management program that we do. The best savings for mitigating the risk of dialysis are not just in having a good rate. So if you're familiar with our repricing arm here for our dialysis solution at Specialty Care Management, we're not negotiating rates. We're actually crafting and underwriting a flat fixed case rate for dialysis and crafting that into your plan. This is why we have 100% retention in the discounts that we obtain for our clients, which average almost 80% across our book of business. And upstream from our dialysis solution is not being caught by dialysis in surprise, right? Mitigating the risk looks like knowing what that risk is, having a price tag for that preemptively that then we can take to stop loss, right? This is where we're seeing some pretty tremendous rate credits when stop loss knows that you have Specialty Care Management's dialysis program in place. CKD management is also important in that many groups choose to put our dialysis solution in place preemptively, like bubble wrap, meaning that maybe you don't have dialysis right now, but preemptively knowing that you might have dialysis risk that maybe you're not seeing, you're covering your group with the power of the specialty care management case rate, so that when a member does go to dialysis, or if they go to dialysis, you're already guaranteed to save money on that and pay less for that member's dialysis. Upstream from that looks like mining through data to uncover who is at risk for kidney disease, who has advancing kidney disease, and partnering with a specialist to help them mitigate that risk. One of the reasons why we garner our 60 to 90% engagement rates in this program is because there's something tangible in it for the member. It's not a trick. It's not a dog and pony show where they get a certain little perk to get a discount. It really does provide valuable benefits for your member. This is why they engage in this program. Many of our nurses here are certified diabetes educators. Not that we have a diabetes management program, but because that diabetes accounts for 60%, a huge chunk of the causative factors for why people develop kidney disease in the first place, then this is why, well, close to 80-90% of the nurse's time is spent on educating, not just educating, but really helping your members uncover strategies and supporting them as they turn their diabetes around. It's not uncommon to see people in this program actually improve their diabetes, some of whom are able to get off of their diabetes medications. This is really important for you, not just in terms of mitigating the risk of kidney disease and dialysis, but other factors as well. It's a fantastic program with very transparent flat rate pricing that really saves your groups. It's not meant to replace your medical management kind of program. This is a specialty and short-term program. Most of our members work with a nurse coach for about 6 to 8 months, excuse me, upwards of a year. Once they reach their goals, then they're transferred back to your existing case management. This is also significant in that most of these members who may qualify for our CKD management program aren't really participating in the programs that you have in place. Otherwise, maybe they wouldn't be that risk, right? So oftentimes these people will become engaged with our CKD nurse coaches. And then as they're turned back to their existing program, you may find an increased participation rate. That also helps your groups mitigate the risk of other related health conditions. CKD management can be really important to help you get ahead of the risk of dialysis. Slowing or even reversing that progression to some extent is where you're going to save the most money on dialysis. Where dialysis is inevitable, having a predictable rate is something that makes underwriting a whole lot easier for your stop loss partner. If you have questions and you want to know more about how we can help you and your groups mitigate this high cost claims types, it really is one of our favorite things to talk about. In the meantime, make it a great day. Bye, friends.